Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ashley and today we're going to be going through my February empties. I love empties videos. They are some of my very favorite videos to watch because when somebody uses a product from beginning to end, you really get a really strong sense of how you feel about that product, the good, the bad, and everything in between. So personally, I find those videos very, very helpful. So I really enjoy sitting down and talking about the products that I've actually used up, because honestly, it's also an accomplishment, especially with a makeup collection as large as what mine is, and honestly, a skincare collection as large as what mine is. To actually complete products feels so good. So if that is the kind of thing that you are into, you are certainly in the right place. If you enjoy empties videos, I hope that you'll give this video a thumbs up. And if you are new, welcome. I am so excited that you decided to click on one of my videos. I hope that you'll consider subscribing, but without further ado, let's jump into my garbage. So this is what we have for my empties. I always keep them in just this little box here. Unfortunately, I do not yet need anything larger. I tend to go through things at a bit of a slower rate. So I'm always very, I don't know if jealous is really the right word, but I'm always in awe of people that have like the huge like baskets of empties. I'm like, dang, what are you doing? I am doing something wrong with my life because I have this little bitty box from the Allure monthly subscription that I was subscribed to a couple of years ago. This is what I use for my empties, and it works for me. So let's go ahead and talk about what I have in here. The first thing that we're going to talk about, I actually did not finish up in February. I finished this up in January in my roulette pan collab, and it was still in that box, and so I forgot to talk about it last month. So technically this is a January empty, but this is from Ole Henrik's. This is the Truth Serum. This is a vitamin C serum, and it is by far my favorite vitamin C serum. It is something that I have repurchased multiple times over the years, and I see such a difference in the brightness and clarity of my skin when I'm using this product. I have tried other vitamin C serums in the past, and I always go back to this one. I haven't yet repurchased it because I am working through some other serums that I already have in my collection. I've already decided, and I know I've spoken about this in the past, I don't think I want to buy any more serums. I really and honestly don't see a difference in my skin with the exception of this one. So maybe I'm using the wrong serums, I'm not sure, but I do want to get through all of the ones that I have in my collection, and then I will go back to buying this one, and just, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Such a great product. It smells amazing. It smells like an Orange Julius, which, let's be honest, is heaven in a glass. Orange Julius is flippin' amazing, but it is so good, and I could not more highly recommend it. It's great for the price too. I mean, yes, there are vitamin C serums that are less expensive, but there are ones that are a ton more that I don't see the same kind of results that you get from the Ole Henrik's one. All right, so the big heavy thing in here that I'm gonna get out of here before I accidentally drop it is this right here from It Cosmetics. This is their Confidence in a Cream. Used this guy up entirely, so we are totally empty in there. I liked this. I liked this a good bit. It was a nice, thick, nourishing cream. I used it at night after I took off all my makeup, washed my face, got everything nice and squeaky clean. I went in with this, and I really very much enjoyed it. As I said, it was a thicker, more nourishing cream, but it never felt heavy or greasy on my skin. It just felt really nice and hydrated, and I really enjoyed it for that. It left my skin feeling nice and plump, and I still noticed it feeling nice in the morning. It wasn't one of those where you put it on, you go to bed, and then you wake up in the morning and you're like, gosh, I need to put something on. This was really nice. I liked it quite a bit. I would consider repurchasing it, just like I mentioned with the vitamin C serum. I have a lot of skincare products that I want to make sure that I work through before I start repurchasing things, but this would be a contender for repurchase because I did really quite like it. Sticking along with skincare, we'll go with this right here. These are the Peace Out little acne dots. I struggled with these to find the way that they were most effective for me. So I don't think that I really benefit from whichever ingredient is in here. I feel like it's salicylic acid. If I'm wrong, I'll make sure to put it along the bottom. But I don't think my skin responds very well to that. When I do get breakouts, they are the really, really deep, painful ones that take forever to come to the surface. And then when they do, I get the little whitehead on it. What I was doing is, I think when I first got these, I was using them too late. I was putting them on once the whitehead formed. And that didn't work for me because A, it didn't do anything to address or treat the problem, but because it's got a little bit of an adhesive to it to, you know, keep the patch stuck to your skin, when I would go to take it off the next day, it would rip the whitehead off, and then I had an open wound on my face, which would then scab, and you guys are probably like, oh my God, gross. But I found that that just really and honestly made it worse. So what I started doing was, as soon as I felt that really deep zit forming, I would put it on then before it progressed all the way to the surface. And that helped to keep the whitehead from forming. It didn't really do anything to keep it from well, I guess it really did keep it from coming to the surface because it didn't get all the way to the whitehead stage, but it didn't help it heal any faster or anything like that. But my skin isn't going to scar if it doesn't have that just... Anyway, you don't need all those details. Sorry. So yeah, once I started using them that way, I liked them a lot more. But with that being said, I don't know that I would pick up another one of these. I still have one of these because it comes in a pack of 2, so I still have some more that I'm going to be working my way slowly through. They are a little bit pricey for what they are. I'm sure that I got them during a Sephora sale because they were getting heavily hyped, so I was very curious about them. I think though that I'm going to try a different brand. I've had my eye on the BH Cosmetic ones that they just released, and so just gonna kind of see if any of them work any differently from each other. So I do have another one of these that I'm working through, but I don't know that this would be a repurchase for me personally. With that being said, everybody's skin reacts differently to different ingredients and to different scenarios. So I know that these get a ton of love here on YouTube, and I'm sure for a good reason. Just for me personally, they didn't work out quite as well as I would have wanted them to. The next thing that I have in here is a deluxe sample of the Sunday Riley Ceramic Slip Cleanser. This was just all right. It doesn't suds up or anything like that. It just sort of stayed, I don't know, kind of like a, it wasn't really a cream, but it wasn't a gel either. Ceramic Slip is honestly a really good way of putting it because it did just have a very runny consistency to it, but it also had texture to it. I know that that probably does not make any sense at all, but I mean, it was fine. It did the job. No complaints there, but I wasn't wowed enough by it to justify wanting to purchase it in a full size, but it was fine. And then the final skincare that I have in here is a deluxe sample of the Pharmacy Daily Greens Oil-Free Gel Moisturizer. This I used up in my Deck of Panning Project pan, and it is, oops, all nice and cleaned out. It was actually really difficult to get everything out because this is a glass lid or glass jar, and the lip on here is fairly dramatic, so trying to get underneath there to get everything out was actually a little bit challenging, so didn't love that. But the product itself was fine. I mentioned in my Deck of Panning update, if you haven't seen that, I will link it up in the cards for you. I struggled with how to integrate it into my routine. Not necessarily a fault of that product there. I think that part of the reason my skin was breaking out so badly is because I was over moisturizing in the morning when I was using that along with my SPF, which I think is actually a moisturizer. So I moved it into my bathroom to use it at night and used it that way, and it worked nicely. I had no complaints about it at all. However, coming on the heels of the thick, nourishing texture of the Confidence in a Cream, I didn't love it enough to want to repurchase it. For me, that kind of gel consistency is more for a day cream, but I did find that it was too substantial for a day cream. It actually left my skin looking a little bit on the greasy side, which for a dry skin girl is not necessarily a bad thing. It just, I don't know, I didn't feel like it sunk into my skin the way that I would want it to for a day cream, but I didn't feel like it was nourishing enough for a night cream. I hope that makes sense. But I love pharmacy products. I think it's a good product. I just don't think it suits my skin specifically. So this is not a product that I would repurchase, but I'm really glad that I did get to try it in this size because it's one that I was very curious about and wanted to go out and pick up. So I'm really glad that I did get that opportunity. And then the last three things in here are actually makeup products. That's so exciting. So again, following on the heels of my Deck of Panning update, I do have a deluxe sample size of the Stellar Cosmic Face Powder in the shade Haze. All nice and clean and empty. Pull the sifter. I really liked this. I went through another one of these last year, the year before, something like that, and I liked it then as well. This isn't being carried at Sephora anymore, and when I tried to find it, I don't know, their website was weird because it said exclusively at Sephora, but it's no longer being carried at Sephora, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with this brand, but this was a really nice face powder. I remember I had a sample of the Brilliant Primer and I loved that. That was really, really nice. So I am sad that this is a brand that is not carried at Sephora anymore, and there is a bit of a question mark around what's going on with it because I do think it's a good brand. I just never picked anything up, and now I won't ever have the option. But this was a nice powder. It was very finely milled. It was white leaning to purple, so it was very brightening. With that said though, I feel like you would be hard pressed to use it on anyone of any sort of color because it was such a white powder with that purple lean to it. With that said though, it was very finely milled, so I don't know how that would have worked out, but for me at least, I really did enjoy this a lot. I have an eyeliner in here. So this is the Benefit Roller Lash Eyeliner. Technically, this is not an empty, but I've had this baby open for more than 2 years now, and it's time. So as you can see, it is still marking, and right now it's marking really, really nicely, but because it is at the end of its life, I was finding that I would go in and start to do an eye, I would have to kind of shake it down some, go over it again, and because the tip wasn't quite as, I don't know, saturated, that it was causing some skipping. I've mentioned in the past that I have very crepey eyelids, very wrinkly eyelids, so I need something that's going to go on nice and smoothly. I had been resisting calling it quits on this for so long because I like it a lot, but I did recently get the Charlotte Tilbury Feline Flick, and that one I feel like is working very well, so I'm finally gonna retire this guy here. This does have a felt tip applicator, but it's not a super stiff one. So it does have some flexibility, some give to it, which is what I liked. I do typically prefer more of a brush tip on this style of eyeliner because it has that sort of give and flexibility, and it's less likely to skip on my textured eyelids. Having a flexible felt tip is the next best thing. So this I do highly recommend. As you can see, it is very black. It dries down nicely. I never had any problems with it smudging or smearing throughout the day. I never had any problem with it transferring. I never got it up in my crease. I do have hooded eyelids, so I never had to worry about it getting anywhere. This is a solid product, and I would absolutely consider repurchasing it because it's really good and I loved it. The last item that I have in here pains me that I am finished with this because I love it so, so much. This is the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Concealer. And I used this as much as I possibly could. It's a square container even inside, so it was actually kind of difficult to get in there. And I don't know if you can really see all that well, but I scraped this baby out because I love it so much. This for me is the perfect shade. I have this in Fair, L1-2 Fair, I think is what it says on there. For me, it's perfect. It worked well if I was wearing foundation, but it also worked beautifully if I didn't want to wear foundation. I would just put some underneath my eyes, blend it out. It was literally the color of my skin. Perfect. It was so, so nice. It gave lovely coverage without ever feeling heavy or cakey. I didn't have issues with it creasing. The only drawback, the only negative that I can say about it is it doesn't smell all that great. It has a distinct paint-like smell, but it didn't linger and it just worked so, so well that I could easily get past that. I'm absolutely going to repurchase. I don't need any new concealers right now. In fact, I have picked up a couple in the last month, but I love this so much that I'm going to have to repurchase it. I don't know exactly when, but it will be happening, and it is one that I totally recommend. I think it is a beautiful, beautiful product, and I'm so sad that it's gone. I'm so sad. So that's it. That is all of my empties for the month of February. I feel like I did pretty well, especially for me this month. I feel like I did pretty well. So I'm very happy with everything that we have here, and I'm really hoping that I can maintain this momentum throughout the rest of this year because I do really want to make some good dents into my collection. That's always very exciting. What have you used up this month? Was February a good use up month for you? Let me know down in the description box below how you're feeling about your makeup use up because I love being able to have that conversation and support each other. So let me know. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope that you're having an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye.